All right, my friends, welcome to episode 395 of Prof and Dev Play Games. My name is Larry, the professor at Prof Plays. Oh, fuck, I almost did the Twitter thing. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, it's not even Twitter anymore. You don't even say it.
Yeah,
It's right. Done.
Fucking X or whatever. Go. Anyway.
Rip Twitter.
Rip Twitter. I'm not on that shit. I am in the hurricane, though, which is not something I thought I would be saying ever. It's fucking windy as shit and rainy as hell right now. And I know Baja got it worse, but wow, is it?
Yeah, I think it's a tropical storm now.
It is a tropical storm now.
It's hit land, and
once it hit land, yep.
It's doing its dissipation, but not before wrecking Southern California a little bit.
Yeah, let me tell you, a tropical storm is still windy as fuck and wet as fuck. So that's where we are. And I have to go outside to my garage to get to my recording equipment. So that was wet. Over there's Anthony the Dev. He works on video games and also plays a few.
I do. Really only one right now.
Yes, and we are here to talk about it. This is Baldur's Gate 3 Part 2.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be many more parts because holy hell is this game big. I'm
so impressed how I guess in the first act, it's not as populated, so you're not running into as many people as I assume you are in Act 3, which we'll talk about. But there's still so many threads, so many quests, so many things happening. And I kind of want to, I don't know if we should start with where I'm at, because I'm obviously not nearly as far as you are. If you want to go first and kind of talk about it, or how we want to approach it.
Why don't we start with you? Because I can talk more about that, of what you're doing.
Okay.
I won't spoil anything where I'm at.
Sounds good. So I have been on the hunt for Halsin for quite a while, and I finally found a way into the Goblin fortress or whatever, the Goblin camp, I guess. And there's maybe there are multiple ways to come in, I assume, but I came in the way where there's a guy standing outside with like a big hyena or whatever, some sort of animal, and he's basically telling me to rub shit on my face to prove I can go inside or something like that. And I didn't really relish the idea of fighting my way through the entire fucking place. So I did. I just picked it up and rubbed it on my face. And he was just like, "Are you an idiot? You actually did it? Well, I guess you can come in then." I was like, fuck, well, it worked. That's how I want to come in. So the goblins just didn't fuck with me until, and I was enjoying going through without any battle encounters until I got into a room where there was a bear and they were throwing rocks at a bear. And I was like, the goblins were, and teasing the bear, and the bear was like, "Please help me." And I was just, I don't know how, but I had forgotten about Halsin being a druid who could turn into fucking animals. And I was just like, do I want to blow my cover just to save a bear? And I almost walked away. I almost left. And I was like, no, I can't. That's not what my character would do. So I fought them. And the bear comes out and we have the whole fight. And at the end, he turns into Halsin. I was like, oh, shit. There he is. Perfect. Like, I can't believe I forgot. He turned into a bear, of course. And then he's like, whatever the story is, go find the 3 people here and go kill the 3 leaders. So I immediately go and find the first one, and talking to her, and I convinced her to go with me by herself into a room. So, and talk about, joining her cult or what the fuck ever. And I split Will from my party, and I have him stand outside the door, and I go in with her and I fucking murder her. And then as soon as I do one round and she's down to like 1 hit point with my 3 characters, I probably should have brought Will in, because when it was her turn, she called for help. And then everybody rushed. It was a huge amount of fucking goblins against Will. It was just Will outside on his own, getting his ass beat, while we beat up killed that goblin. And then I'm still carrying her in my bag right now.
Jeez.
I picked her up. And then it's been just fighting through there ever since. And it's been good. Like, I've really been enjoying the combat, to be honest. And I haven't found a second leader yet. So I gotta keep looking for the other 2 leaders, I guess.
Gee.
But Halsin was like, "I can come with you, but I can't control my bear, and I'll probably fucking blow your cover." I was like, "No, I'm good." Now I'm just fucking killing everybody. So I probably should have brought the bear with me.
Come on, bear. We need you.
Yeah, I should probably go back and find him and be like, "Yo, can you join us now, since everyone's fucking coming for me?" So that's where I'm at. There was a moment where I was still looking. Other thing, I went looking for Lae'zel, because somebody told me, maybe it was Travis, that it was kind of near the Nautiloid. And I went to that place, which I actually had not been before. and she's supposed to be with 2 tieflings, I think.
Yeah. Like
and those,
trapped her. They trap her, basically.
Oh, okay, perfect. Those tieflings are fucking murdered. They're on the ground dead. I can't even speak to them as dead corpses. So Lae'zel's somewhere else, or I won't get her on this playthrough. I don't know. And that's the highlights for me. I have not looked up if Lae'zel's not there, where is she instead? Because I kind of want to just stumble into it, or not. I mean, I have a ton of companions. I'm really kind of settling in on the ones that I would like to use, and I'm not using the other ones. I'm saving them for another playthrough to learn their stories and stuff. So, or just talking to them in camp, I guess. I'm not actively taking them out with me. So,
yeah, I don't have a clue how that's going to change anything.
Because that's where you found Lae'zel as well, right?
Yeah. She was trapped in a cage. Tieflings were there. I convinced them that she was more trouble than it's worth. And they were like the hunters, and they're like, no, we got it. It's our prey. We're gonna take her back to the city, I think, turn her in, something. I just convinced them to walk away, and then freed her from the cage that she was in, and she joined my party. But I don't know what happened.
Her much?
No, I wasn't. Well, no, I used her for a while because I didn't have Karlach. Karlach was. I didn't find her until many hours later. So yeah, I was using Lae'zel because I was doing the Paladin Bard thing. Yeah. I was using Lae'zel as a fighter. That's my big two-handed beat things down fighter. Yeah.
That's who my main character is that my daughter made for me, which I wish I was a different one. I know I can respec, but I probably won't, or reclass. I mean, because I really like Karlach, but she doesn't fit in my party very well. So I still take her out every once in a while when I just want to bash things. But
you can respec her.
Oh.
You can respec any of the companions.
Oh.
I've done that to a couple of them to make them fit a little bit better.
That is maybe a really good idea. I also feel like I don't know. I like the role-playing aspects. So I like her to be her, but I guess her story is the same no matter if you change it.
Yeah, the class doesn't matter on her story. Okay.
Cool. Maybe I'll think about that.
The only one I would say the class kind of matters is Shadowheart.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think the story will actually change, but from an RP standpoint, the class, being a cleric of Shar matters for her.
Yeah, I bet. She's dug real deep into that with me. I mean, I guess it gets much deeper later, but she's been.
It does.
I guess I haven't even talked about some of that stuff. Like, the Dream Guardian finally came, like talking about me wanting to use the tadpole. She's like, my Dream Guardian's like, you've never used the tadpole. You should really use the tadpole. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not using the tadpole. I've never used it once. Whenever it says Ellipted, I'm like, nope, that's not what I'm choosing. But then, talking to all the companions, and they all had the same dream or whatever, and just like how, I forget which instance it was where Shadowheart and her, it was with where was it? Anyway, her artifact or whatever stopped the thing from happening in that moment. I can't remember which story part that was, but she seems really into this Shar person. And I'm just like, it's cool. Sounds good. And now she's like, I kind of want to sleep with you. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. Spoilers. You're not getting slept with. Sorry.
With Shadowheart?
Yeah.
God damn it.
At least not there. Like, that's a big fake out. That's not at all.
Oh man. I'm glad you told me, because I'll stop barking at that tree then. That's like my primary romance fucking angle.
It pays off in a while.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
And
that's
Act 3 totally pays off if you want to go that way. Although, there are some important choices to make in Act 2 that will define that relationship.
I'm sure. Yeah, I bet. Like, do you want to really support me in this darkness?
Yeah, Act 2 has a lot. A lot of her storyline is in Act 2.
She seems like the central character of the whole game.
Kind of.
Not true?
No, not really. As we found, our friend Travis killed her on his first playthrough. She is not central for the story, actually.
Interesting.
None of the characters are central to the story, except yours. Yeah. The game,
yeah, of course,
completely can handle these characters being alive or dead, or in your party or not in your party. Yeah. I was saying, yeah, Lizelle will eventually escape herself. If you take
escape from what?
The trap that she's in, that's tieflings.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what she did then. Okay.
And she will make her way to a different place. And I will not tell you.
That's what thank you. That's what I thought happened. So that makes sense because they were clearly murdered.
Yes, she murdered them.
Excellent. Perfect.
I've been hearing people about someone I know has spent like 60 hours in Act 1.
60 fucking hours in Act 1?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
I'm just like, this game is huge. I feel like I'm gonna have 50 in Act 3. There's so much to do.
24 in Act 1 right now.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about Act 3 like in general terms because I read something today that someone was complaining about that I saw as like deeply exciting, which is like you get to Act 3, like you start a quest, and then by the time you move to the second leg of the quest, you've picked up 6 more quests. And it's like, that sounds amazing. And also it's such a dense place. That means that there are more people who have more things. So they've really written so much shit for you to do in that.
There's so much to do and so many little quests and everything. But like you probably are starting to see, and you'll see especially through as you continue, almost all the little side quests are breadcrumbs back to big quests, main quests.
Oh yeah.
Or giving you some hints on things to big main quests. So there's just a lot. And Act 3 is very dense. I've seen effectively, I mean, you're in Act 1 and you went to the Underdark, didn't you, as well, right?
Yeah, yes, I did.
You've gone to, so there's the map. So you've seen the overworld map, the wilderness, kind of where the grove is and the goblin fortress encampment is, like that big overworld map. There's the Underdark big map. There's another map you haven't been to. That isn't Act 2. I thought it was going to Act 2, and it's not. It's just another map. Smaller than the main one, but there's more stuff there of Act 1. So that's kind of like the 3 major ones. For comparison,
it's not like the Whispering Cave thing, is it, or whatever, the spiders and shit?
Nope.
Okay, yeah.
Nope, no, they're talking like big.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't even think you've been over. I guess I'm looking. Let me see. Baldur's BG3 map. I want to get my directions right.
Because I went west until I got to that dragon. I was like, fuck. Nope.
Got to the. Okay, what? Was it just the dragon, or did you see the dragon?
Saw the dragon on the bridge, surrounded by GIF.
Okay, and you didn't go up and engage.
I did not, because I was going to get I thought I'd get roasted.
No, it's fine. But that
I was like, I wanted to get Halcyon before I do whatever this is.
So you've gone all the way. That's fine. There's an exit over on that side that will go to another map. That's still Act 1.
Okay.
You'll eventually be able to get through there. That's fine. You'll go through that way. If you choose to. I guess you don't have to. Like, you can skip. That's the thing. You can completely skip the Underdark or this other place.
Well, you don't have
to do that stuff. So it's like,
I was in that Whispering Cave or whatever with the spiders and shit, and then I get to the bottom and it's like big green glowing hole, and it's like, oh, there's a breeze coming from there. I was like, I'm gonna jump. Let's see what happens. So yeah, it's everything it's just an onion that has 8,000 layers. This game,
pretty much. That's kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
For size like Act 3, I'm on the second kind of big overworld map of it. And I know there's a third that I have access to right now. And I still probably have another, I would expect 10, 15 hours in the second map. Really? Because there's some big shit I have to deal with here.
Wow.
So I'm just like, I don't know. My wife asked, she's like, how long do you think you have left? Like 5, 10 hours? And I'm like, no, probably like 30 is my assumption at the moment. 25 at best.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I know. I'm like, this is insane. I will say Act 3 is buggier though.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing reports of, which makes me happy that I play like an hour to an hour and a half a night, because I won't get to Act 3 till like Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I encountered one thing playing today. I won't spoil what it is, where I did. There's many ways. I get, like most things, there's many ways to handle it. The way I wanted to handle it, I was like, cool, I did it. My quest log updated saying the thing I want to happen is going to happen when I long rest. And then I long rest, and the opposite thing happened.
Oh.
And I was like, that's weird. And I looked up online. It's because I talked to someone after I had set everything up. I talked to a specific person, and if you do that, it resets everything. So it's basically, and I had a save, so I could just, I'm like, okay, reload.
Okay.
Don't talk to this person, just leave. And it worked. But that's the type of bugs that are there. You're like, wow. It was just a really, I'm sure it's like a really weird trigger on conversation with this character that just overwrites a setting somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how they keep track of all this, because there's probably so many flags for all of your actions and who you've talked to and conversation choices you've made, ways you finished quests, items you've picked up that influence everything.
Yeah, like there's so many pieces that interact, that I would assume interact, that fuck, how do you keep it all straight? How do you make sure?
I want to see their giant mind map, like just this thing all charted out, all the lines, like lines and choice points. And it's like, I'm sure they can get that and just print it out, and there's just giant decision tree. I would love to see it, because I'm sure it's huge.
Well, I heard people who like get stuck on main quests and they're like, there's no way to progress this, and they just go do something else, and that the small quests give a clue, which is, I assume that's how they all feed into each other.
That is
that's crazy, man.
Because there was a big thing I did today, and then I was cleaning up, doing some small quests, and it was giving me, I was getting hints. I was like, oh, this, if I had done this first, it would have given me, breadcrumbed me to go on this big quest thing that I already did. But it was neat after the fact to see how these small quests also tied into that bigger storyline. Again, like a good tabletop RPG campaign, if it's done well, and the GM is doing it well, they'll feed what the players are deciding to do, feed it back into their bigger story, so it doesn't feel like you're railroaded into the main story, but just like, oh, it naturally just flows. And this game just naturally flows. I've heard playing it, because I'm playing, what am I am a second level paladin. I'm level 12 now. I'm max level.
So you're 12 now. Okay.
I'm 12 and 10 levels of bard. So I convince everyone to do anything: deceive, persuade, perform, intimidate. Doesn't really matter if social thing. I got it. So that feels really good as being a bard. And I was always worried. I'm like, man, if I play as a different class, how is this gonna feel if I'm not like the face? But I was hearing people talking about it and saying, like, it honestly makes it feel like all classes are cool in some way. Like, conversations are changed and options you have are changed by what class you are, so that it feels good to play any class. Like, you playing fighter doesn't make you feel like man, I can't do anything in conversations. It's like you have unique paths in conversation that
yeah, exactly.
I probably don't see.
Yeah, mine's often with that character is a lot of intimidate.
Yep.
Versus when I use will, it's a lot of persuasion.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. The game is really good. We can also talk now. Like IGN gave it a 10 out of 10.
I read that review.
A long time. PC Gamer gave it a 97 out of 100, which is the highest rating they've given in 17 years.
There was another magazine. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry, but they gave them a 95, which is the highest score they've, I think, ever given anything. But they docked 5 points for Act 3 bugs and said, we will return these points when those are fixed because this game's amazing. So that was an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, even the bugs that I've come across in 3, that's the only egregious one that I've come across. The rest, I haven't come across anything that I've noticed other than that one. Although, I mean, there just was another hot fix, and I know that fixed.
Oh, number 5 or number 4?
4. They redeployed 4.
The new one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And that fixed a number of things that I think a number of Act 3 things that I may have coming up on encountering, but I guess they'll be fixed now. But yeah, the game is wild. Story is wild. I already have a friend who has beat it and has just started again. Just immediately back in. New class, new character. Let's go.
Honestly, I see the appeal of that already. Like I'm avoiding some stuff, like, and not feeling bad about missing out on doing it this way or having this character with him because I'm gonna do it next time. Like I really want to probably do an origin character next time and like main Asterion, for example, and like go real fucking dark.
Sure.
Because I'm not doing that this time. I'm kind of letting him do his thing on the side. So that's kind of how I'm role playing it. Like you're not really in my party. You're doing this thing in camp. You're doing it on the side, whatever. I'll pull you out when I need you, but usually just like keep you to the side. But I would like to have that evil piece, like the focus next time, or even like Dark Urge maybe, which is nuts. So
yeah, and there is more evil choices to be made, like where you're at. Where you're like, I know at that point you can choose to be like, no, I'm siding with the absolute here.
Yeah.
Like you can say, I'm friendly with all you people. I'm gonna work with you to destroy the Grove. You can choose that path.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Which is a pure evil path. And I'm like, what does that even look like? What does the game look like if you do this?
And how many people like out the gate decided to do that?
I don't even know. I don't even know how you go about doing it. Is the thing.
Well, that 4 halfling barbarians video that was shared in our Discord. I don't know if you watched it yet.
No.
Just 4 fucking halfling barbarians throwing each other at things and blowing shit up like just blew the whole grove up, blew the whole fucking goblin camping up. Fucking barrels.
Sure.
Oh man. It's good stuff.
I saw that. I mean, I saw that video. I think Larian has always been good about like the Larian and just the general of making games. Especially since they're interactive, it's at least I'm under this impression. For me, it's always amusing when people do crazy things that, as a developer, we don't expect them to do. And it works, and you're like, "That's awesome, go!" Like,
good job,
you figured some stuff out. And it's just the big thing here. It's a co-op single player game. Mostly single player. You can play with people, but they're not trying to keep it balanced for competitive reasons, anything like that. They're just like, have fun. We've given you a giant world that is a toolbox. Do things. I've heard of filling, like, grab every backpack and pouch you can find and, like, throw bombs and alchemist fire, everything, and put it into one pouch. Throw that pouch wherever you want it. Break it open around everybody, and then ignite it all in one giant nuke at the feet of an enemy.
Crazy.
And they're like, "Cool, yeah, good job. You're using the systems in creative ways," and I think that's what Larian wanted. So, and it kind of feels like that's D&D as well. Like,
yeah, the thing
here
is,
you have a bunch of weird things. Figure out how to solve the problem. Go.
Right, and let's see if it actually works. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Just the idea of, oh fuck, I just lost the thread. You had said it a minute ago, and I was gonna.
D&D ideas.
Yeah. Connected it to Diablo 4, where like I don't know, Blizzard thought that some barbarian builds or whatever overpowered or whatever, so they nerfed a bunch of shit. Like, that's not happening here. You can take that owl bear, throw it up in the fucking sky, drop it down on the fucking enemy, and kill him. Sure, okay, you're super overpowered when you did that. Great. You had fun. Like, there's no nerfing here.
Yeah, it's basically pick your form of cheese you want in this game. Like, you can do all sorts of crazy things, and I've heard of a fighter build, like at the end game here, like I might be able to do now, like respect a fighter, champion fighter, great weapon master, which is where you can say I get -5 on my attack roll, but +10 damage. But there's a bunch of gear in the game that you can equip that increases your chance of critical hits. So right now, like by default, it's only 20, and then there's some like reduce that by 1, so it's 19, 20. I think the best you can get is a range of 15 to 20. You'll crit. And they just make a fighter that has all that gear. Big best two-handed weapon you can find. And haste them. Get someone in your party that can cast haste. So you're doing, at most, if you use your action surge, you can do 9 attacks a turn on your turn.
Jesus.
And you're doing the +10 damage. Generally, some of those are critting. And on average, doing somewhere between like 200 to 300 points of damage in one turn of that character.
Wow. I cannot dream of that.
That's some form of cheese, but like,
the systems let you do it.
I respect a party member who, I won't say who it is. You don't have them yet. To be a monk. I'd heard of this tavern brawler build, so it's a strength-based monk, because you still want to have dex, but there's some gloves you can get later in the game that just set your dex to 18. If you're wearing these gloves, so you respec, set your dex to 8.
Oh, fucking great!
Dump all the stats into strength and con and whiz, because you're now playing a monk.
Mm-hmm.
Put those gloves on so you have some dex. Tavern brawler, and so when you do an unarmed strike, it applies your strength bonus twice.
Wow.
And then you do what was it? It was monk to a certain level, and then it's like thief, rogue thief, what gives you extra bonus actions. It gets you an extra bonus action, so you can do 2, and then monks use bonus actions to do flurry of blows, so 2 unarmed strikes.
Totally.
So I can go up to someone, I have 2 normal attacks on an action, and then I have 2 bonus actions, and I punch with my action, and then I do 4 flurry of blows attacks, unarmed strikes. I'm doing a lot of damage. I have single-handedly taken down.
Like, are you taking down bosses?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And it's a strength base. My jump is huge, so I just just see this character just jumps out of nowhere right next to who they're dagging, and just is like, and then just opens up on them.
Jump is like low key one of the best abilities in the game.
Oh, jump is great.
I love it. It's so great.
And you're a fighter, so you have strength.
Yeah.
So your jump distance is actually really improved because of that strength. Yeah.
I've been able to like reposition in combat before I even move, traversal in different places and shit. It's just fucking, I remember, I don't know, like a month ago on the podcast, I'm so excited about Baldur's Gate 3 coming out. I'm never going to play it. I'm not going to have time for this game, which I don't. But I'm so glad I picked it up anyways. Like, I'm having a great time. Like, an hour, hour and a half a night. That's all I play. I don't play during the day. I don't play
Yep.
any other time. I play I play at 9:30 to 11 or 10 to 11:30. That is it. Last night I was fucking falling asleep in the middle of a fight. I was at the end of my time, and I just saved it in the middle of the fight. I was like, I hope the fuck that picks up in the middle of the fight, and we'll figure out what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I'm still working through the Goblin Camp. But it is like bite size like that. I know I talked about wanting to do like hoping to do like I'll do it once a week or whatever, but having it bite size once a night is just like I can't even like it is like Witcher 3, how Witcher 3 felt, and then how Mass Effect felt. Like that this is my fucking kind of story where this or game where the story is so fucking rich. I'm almost like crying because I thought Tears of the Kingdom was the best game of the year, and now I'm not sure.
I don't think it is. Not for me, at least. This, because I've told my wife this. I'm like, I think this is one of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah,
hands down.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredible amount of work and craftsmanship went into this to make it all work, and it's been very successful. I think it's shocking also that this genre has been this successful, and it's definitely breaking out of just the like CRPG fans.
Oh yeah, this is fucking.
That's the key. That's the hard thing. I'm like, CRPGs have been pretty fixed for the most, especially the isometric ones. Like Skyrim broke out definitely over the time, but the isometric top-down tactical one, they've never had like mainstream appeal, really. Not in a significant way. Not like this, because based on my estimates, using the review number of total reviews to total sales on Steam, which you can do total reviews times 72 is a good estimate. Some will have more, like people tend to review more, so less. So let's say multiply that by 60 to 72, this game has sold 11 to 14 million copies on Steam alone.
On just not even GOG, and obviously not PS5 pre-orders. Jesus Christ.
This game is going to sell so many copies, and it's making Larian so much money. And it wouldn't. And the thing is like, that's great. I think it has mainstream appeal. It's catching everyone off guard because it is just that good overall. It's not like one aspect is good. It's like, no, the whole package is amazing.
And for people, I've listened to a bunch of podcasts where people have talked about how the combat, specifically in the early stages, which I think maybe is a 5e thing, where it's hard to get going, and then hard, super crunchy and whatever else, but also a low power perhaps. But then once you get to like 5 or whatever, it picks up. So if people are having problems with that aspect of the game early on, everything else is carrying them forward. And that's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And some people won't like this type of turn-based combat, but I will say that combats go way faster than tabletop 5e. Yay for the PC. And having it calculate all this stuff, because I'm like, my God, some of these combats that have taken, I'm like, man, this is like a 30-person combat, tons of stuff's going on. Finish it in about 45 minutes, and I'm like, in tabletop, that would have been like 2 4-hour sessions to get through this one combat.
Yeah. Sometimes Critical Role episodes is just like, it's all.
Yep.
The whole episode was combat.
Yep.
It's I guess it's scratching the itch of like Fire Emblem Engage, like just tactical RPGs, strategy RPGs, where like I never really thought about CRPGs like that, where it really is that whole strategic framework of how you're putting your people on the map, who's doing what skill when, all that, all the permutations of that, just like it's constant thinking and engagement. Yeah. Plus the just unbelievably rich story that I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of.
You haven't. I think you're gonna love Act 2.
Oh man.
I think Act 2 is a little bit more, I wouldn't say railroady, but a little bit straightforward. You're like, okay, this is the stuff that's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
But my God, did I love just the story being told in Act 2. It's very much a three act story though. So
I like that. That feels contained.
Act 2 is your Empire Strikes Back kind of moment. Has some positives, but you're like, oh shit, like, let's hit you hit Act 3 in that, like, okay, things aren't great. We got some minor victories, but we got some losses too. Like, this is going to be the scale. The scales have been set now. I know what's going on at this point. And yeah, the story is just absurd, but it's a great way of introducing people. Like, I guess we talked about last time, the tadpole thing. Great, simple story thread to introduce you to the world. You have motivation. Actually, where you are, the motivation is now increasing. You're starting to build into the world more, the Grove and the Absolute and what's going on there. As you go through Act 2, you're going to get more of that. It just builds. And what you're doing is grander and grander. Now where I'm at is just incredibly grand, and I'm dealing with, honestly, it feels like would-be gods and most of the time. But they land the story. They land it, though. That's the thing. I don't feel like I'm doing anything and I'm like, oh, Larian failed to set this up. It's like, no, they set this all up. This is maybe crazy and wild, but feels like it's paying things off, has proper setup, but it still feels like D&D, which is crazy. They're not they're not feeling like, oh, we're better than our source material that we're learning using. Like, they very much have embraced Forgotten Realms and the games that have come before, and there's silliness to it. That's kind of how it feels like a tabletop game. It's like you have your seriousness, but it also has silliness. Tone is generally pretty great. They know when to cut the serious with some levity.
There's been some I can't remember the exact moments, but some moments where I've just laughed out loud.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure there are more. There's one part too where it didn't make me laugh, but it made me really happy. When Travis said that Lae'zel is somewhere near the beginning, I went back and I found a path near the Grove that I had never gone to before. And I went out there, and there was a tiefling playing a lute, I think.
Oh, you found Alfina.
Yeah. So
that song is so good.
It's amazing. I just sat there and listened to it. I was like, holy fuck. Like,
you got a whole music video for the entire song.
Yeah. And I was like, I was definitely going to miss this. And I know that she comes back. So then that's really cool that it sets up something later. Even if it's something small, it's cool that that's, a thread that carries through to the end in some way. Alfira sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that song was incredible. Are there other songs like that?
There's a couple. Yeah, there's definitely some more voiced ones. Alfira is really cool. It's not a great time in the Dark Urge storyline, I'll say that. I know that.
Oh no. No. Oh, did you talk to Ant? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Good time in non-Dark Urge.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that would break my fucking heart, man. But speaking of that, did you use talk to animals there and talk to the squirrels in front of her?
No. Oh, jeez.
I was like so taken by this whole thing. I was like, oh my god, there's some squirrels here. I'm gonna talk to them and like just see how much they love the song or whatever. And they were just like, can you get this banshee to stop singing? It's crazy. Like, it's awful. I can't stand it. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, just leave. What the fuck? Get out of here. Oh man.
We were here first.
Oh man, it was so. That was the thing that I laughed at. Yeah, I was not ready for it because I just had this whole beautiful, amazing experience, and it was just like, oh yeah, you think that was amazing? Well, here's some comedy. These squirrels fucking hate it. Oh my god, it was amazing. I haven't
done that enough as talking to animals. I know you can talk. I've talked to a few.
Sometimes I forget.
I forget about that, and haven't done Speak with Dead.
Ever?
No, in the entire
How the
playthrough.
fuck are you
I just
in
haven't
Act
thought
3?
about it.
You have withers though, right? Who gives you the amulet, I think.
I do. I
I
just
think.
not wearing it, and I just don't use it.
Wow. Oh my God, there's so
I've
much.
never,
There's
I've
so much
never spoke
lore
with
by talking to dead
anybody,
people.
I'm sure.
Oh man, it's so great. That's awesome though, because then you could do it on another playthrough.
I know. I'm like, oh, there's a
You're
thing.
leaving so much for another playthrough.
I feel like that's what this. We talk about playing it again. I don't. That's what this game is. Like you can experience it all on one playthrough.
You say you can't or can?
Can't.
Yeah, I don't think you
I don't
can
think you
either,
can.
though.
Like, I mean,
No.
you play it and you just get you tell your own story. They've told you a story, and you've kind of chosen that story, and it just goes with however you're playing. And like with me, I'm like, no Speak with Dead this time. I guess I'll play it again next time, and I'll do Speak with Dead. Maybe I'll do a Warlock playthrough.
Man, I gotta say, I've never played a Warlock, and I know a guy in our Discord, Daniel, plays a Warlock at his tabletop games. So I play Will quite a bit. He's like, other than my character, probably the one I play the most. And man, Eldritch Blast is great.
That's just good.
It's so good. But then just his ability to talk to people and persuade people and stuff right now, at least, is super cool. So yeah, it feels pretty well rounded. He's the one that can also do Speak with Animals as a spell. I have Speak with the Dead on the amulet. I have it on Asterion, but I don't use him as much anymore, so I'll probably pull it off him and put it on someone else. But I've gotten so much cool lore. And cool, there's like a fucking key, like where the paladin's tier were. Like there was a key that fell down the mountainside or whatever that I was able to get because I talked to someone and I was like, oh, it's around here somewhere. Great. So
much.
Just it's just scratching the fantasy itch. It's scratching the deep storytelling itch. It's just like I'm watching an amazing movie an hour and a half a night, and I cannot get enough. I cannot.
Yeah.
There's no end in sight. Like Final Fantasy 16, I definitely want to come back to. I was totally enjoying it. I'm looking forward to getting back to it before the end of the year, but I don't know when.
Yeah, I don't know. Even me, I'm like, well, definitely not doing Armored Core. That I thought about it and I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, I'll do a month of Game Pass to do Starfield. Nah, not right now. It's fine.
Yeah. This is gonna hurt Starfield for that reason. I think people
I'm
busy. I'm busy. Not that I don't want to play Starfield. I'm just busy.
Yeah. There's the Cyberpunk expansion in end of September, and I'm like, will I be spent on Baldur's Gate 3 by that point? I don't know right now.
Yeah.
Because I'll be done. I'm sure I'll have finished it by then. But will I want to just be like, no, I just want to play again. I just want another character and I just want to play. I want to go tell another story.
I feel like as a D&D person who, I don't know if you still have a weekly campaign or
no, I haven't for a bit. But
oh yeah, okay. It kind of, I don't know, like fills the need for me, but maybe for you too. Like no reason. Like I guess what I'm trying to say is you seem like the kind of person who would jump right back in to do another campaign. That would be totally different than the one you just did.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, I know you jumped into Mass Effect 2 right when you finished, right? You're like, fuck, I'm doing this again.
Yep.
Yeah. And this seems like way more branching, at least right now. I don't know how the ending is going to be, but
I'm very curious what Larian's going to do in the future now. Like they said they have a big patch coming and they'll I think people have complained they want to be able to like you can respec your class, you can't change your looks.
How you look, yeah, exactly.
So I think they'll be adding that in. I don't think that would be insane. But part of me, like, they've never done an expansion. But I'm very curious if they would, like, not increase. They don't want to increase level cap or anything like that. If they would go back through and be like, hey, we're going to add more quests and side stuff through the main game and give new subclasses. Because there's a bunch of they have all the player's handbook subclasses, but there's probably another 12 or so that have been published officially, like that they could add back in, like Twilight Clerics is one that I would love to be able to play.
Wouldn't it be? This is not something that's going to happen, but wouldn't it be crazy if they did like a Tal'Dorei, like a critical role?
Oh, sure.
Thing.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen.
No, I don't think so.
But that would be really cool. Like at this point, I'm like, I don't even know what their next thing is. Definitely probably a CRPG, but I'm like, I don't know what it would be at this point, and I feel like they would want to, in just the name of goodwill, do more with this game, at least a little bit, than they've done with Divinity and Divinity Original Sin 2. Not that they didn't do things with those games. They did updates, they did definitive editions where they restored like cut content. But I feel like this one, they may want to just do something a little bigger. But I don't think they've been clear that they don't want to go higher than 12 like they don't want to continue higher. Like spells get crazier, real crazy at that last 13 to 20 range. Like you're fighting gods at that point. Like the scale of everything gets very weird. Like high level D&D is a different beast. But I really think I'm like, well, you have good, really strong foundation here. Just add more to the foundation. Add more options for players to do so they can just keep playing this through in different ways. And I'd be pretty happy with that, honestly.
Yeah, I think I think Baldur's Gate specifically has a history of like expansions.
They do.
So it would be interesting for them to say, we don't have that history, but this game does. We should do something. But I don't know. I think Horizon Zero Dawn or Forbidden West is not the right example, but it's what's in my head right now. But like DLC or expansions that like aren't epilogues, but they're like a piece that happened in the middle somewhere. Then it's like this new land you went to when you were level 5 or whatever. I don't know.
I think there's something
that working, but
I feel like they have a better chance of making that work than trying to do any kind of Act 4. Basically.
Right. I mean, I've heard some complaints about the ending. I don't know specifics of it, but I know how people felt about how it ended, and I could see them wanting to like reapproach that. Maybe like I don't know if if they felt rushed or if there's if there's any merit to some of the criticism I've heard. But I mean, it's a fucking masterpiece as far as I'm concerned right now. So if there's any blemishes later, like maybe they would want to spend time getting that right,
clearing that up. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, cool. We've talked about it, and I'm like, I just want to play more.
Yes, and the storm is still storming, so I should probably get in. So maybe we will end it so we can get in and play and get out of the rain or into the rain and then out of the rain. Well, this was episode 395. Prof and Dev play games. Baldur's Gate 3 Part 2. We will be back next week with Part 3. I am sure.
Yeah, probably.
All right, we will see you next week. Thanks, folks.
All right. Later, everyone.